Hello, I'm back. Today I just really want to go into, again, like the struggle with going live or being visible with your healing work. So, I mean, this kind of applies to anyone that hates the idea of, I don't know, being filmed or going live or, marketing their business. So it's not just for healers, the message is available to other people that struggle with this. And I just think that there's so many layers. There are so many layers to why it is a struggle to show up on camera and certainly live. And I know it because you might have heard me tell the story before, but even I was public speaking all over the country, in different countries even. I was doing a talk a week at least, minimum, and that wasn't a problem. It maybe started off, a bit ropey when you're learning the ropes, but eventually I was just like doing talks all the time and, lots of confidence, believed in what I was doing, sharing aura transformation. And then the idea of going on camera and film was just like, I can't do it, or I don't want to do it. And my whole body would literally throw up, react in many, many different ways. It was just like, and this and that, you can't do it because of this. And sometimes it would be physical things, like just sudden loss of energy, or like, too tired to do it, like a fog would wash over. And I was just very curious, and I had a lot of tools to start exploring. And I think it took me about, 2 years to really get my head around how to go live. Or just film myself, even though I had confidence and an amazing, track record with my healing work. So it was a curious thing. So I know that there are many, many, many people out there that just switch off with the idea of camera work. And, it's not, I don't think it's necessarily to do with confidence only. And I don't think it's not all to do with your childhood experiences, for example. I think there's more to it. And because I did aura transformation for, 8 years, I have a very clear picture of how the energy field works and how, where our spirit energy is and what our protection is like and how our ancestral patterns plug in to how we operate today. And, just like I have a vast experience with energy and auras and collective consciousness. So I kind of have a really good feel for where those pressures come from when you're trying to go like on camera, and because I experienced it too. So we could start with, possibly what's happened in your own lifetime. So you've got, bullying at school, or being ridiculed when you stood up in the classroom, or the fact that you are a very creative, kind of magical human, maybe artistic, or very highly sensitive, or an empath, or all that kind of thing, but you were stuck in a school system that doesn't really honor your way of learning and your way of expressing itself. So you didn't really get a chance to express yourself in the way that would have been more natural to you and more creative to you. So you've had to put yourself, squish yourself into a little box of maybe trying to people please or pushing yourself through, past your nervous system triggers to do something that you're not particularly good at or you don't really want to do. So the school system has a huge part to play. It's certainly if you're neurodivergent or, magical or creative. There's, it's like almost a crime, I say, to humanity in how we've been treated in our school system, because we're not all the same. There is no cookie cutter education that would work for every single child. And I recently did a session with the graduates of the visibility graduates, and we did a kinesiology session where that came up, the school system came up, and it was actually painful to try and reintegrate the creative part of our brain and being back in to integration with the body, so that we could dream bigger and look at business stuff and financial stuff and money stuff without going, because it's almost like your body rejects thinking in a rational, business, logical way, because you can't do it, you're not good enough, it's not going to work. Your body goes into freeze response because there's like it's like a rejection or an aversion to that sort of 3D, logical, rational, scientific, financial way of doing things that you were taught at school. You weren't taught finances at school, but linear stuff. And so when we were doing this session, it came up as that the visibility graduates I was working with have psychic toxins because of what school, like the imprinting from school had created like psychic toxins, like a cloud of thoughts and feelings, and you're not good enough, and you're not as good as that person, and you're ranking higher than that one, and that's not good, what you're doing is not good enough, oh, you don't get it, you must be stupid. That cloud of imprinting from the school system came up as psychic toxins that were hanging around the person, which was affecting the nervous system and being unable to think clearly and see clearly what's in front of them. So that's the kind of thing that we're looking at when you're freezing in front of a camera. There's a lot of conditioning in our society, in our culture, that tells you that you're not good enough, or that you're not as good as that person or that person, because you were ranked at school, like you were in the top class or the lower class or whatever. And so there's that kind of thing. There's also, and this is really sad, and it's not very nice to hear it. And I don't think it's not so much about laying blame on parents or siblings, but if you were continuously not heard or seen or valued for your opinion, or you were a kind of appendage to the parent, and like, you do as you're told, you're not seen and heard, it is really hard for you to know who you are. Like, if you're not being heard or valued for your opinions or your feelings, or you have overridden your boundaries consistently again and again from a very young age just to fit in with what's going on around, which means that when you're older, you don't really know where your boundary is or what you believe in and what's your personality and what do you really like. You don't even know what you like, because you never got to test that reality. So I think that can show up when you're trying to go on camera, because you're not, it's almost like you kind of go blank and go like, oh, I'm not, who am I to go on live, and no one will want to listen to me, and like, oh, and it's like a shrinking that happens when you're going to be seen, because it's so alien to be seen in that way. Sorry. So there's all that kind of thing that's showing up when you're trying to go live on camera. But there is other stuff too. And the way I came up today, I was just doing a bit of kinesiology, and it came up that the word yoke came up, Y-O-K-E. And that a yoke is that wooden thing that goes onto two cows or animals that are going to plow a field. So they're dragging something heavy and they're turning the soil, and it's quite heavy work. Well, we would consider that heavy, manual work now. And a yoke, I would imagine, is quite heavy. And what came up for me for that was that many of us in the healing arts, in the, wanting to be more visible with the work, but then struggling to show up, or in fear of showing up, and it's almost irrational, and you're like, why am I not just doing it? It feels like we're dragging a lot of the past with us on our backs, like ancestral traumas and wounding that, our ancestors, there's our bloodline ancestors, so your genetic bloodline, your family line, and that they come with their own cloud of consciousness and of moods and attitudes and thoughts and traumas. And, there's a kind of wish for the younger generations, like, well, I made that mistake, don't you make that mistake too? And like, I had to give up everything to, I had to give up my passions to be a mother, or, or a fear of always losing everything, like, oh God, we don't want to lose everything again, like we did 30 generations ago. So there's those cataclysmic traumas that happen in a family line can still have an effect on you. That is genetic. It's like epigenetics, the science of epigenetics. The experiences down your bloodline generations can have an impact on you now. So you could have a look at your family and the stories of your family, and people, maybe you just might be aware of, maybe you were listening to your grandparents when you were little, and you can hear the stories they have around money and success and passion and following their dreams and all that kind of thing. And so you can check like what impact that might be having on you, because you can see yourself repeating without thinking those stories. And the same, it's different, but there's also your sort of your spiritual lineage, maybe your past lives, or where your conscious, the vortex of your consciousness has been in several, it's been in different timelines and different places and spaces, different times in history. Part of you has been there, and that also carries its traumas and its wounding and cataclysmic events that might have made you go somewhere deep inside. I will never teach again. I will never be visible again. It's not safe to be visible. We must, hide our magic, hide our power, hide our gifts. And so there comes a point where we have to stop dragging the past, our ancestral past. Honor the ancestors, honor your other lives, take heed of the amount of power and magic and experiences in your body and in your cells. Not all magic is out there in the planets and, shooting out of your body, astral projecting to meet weird entities and, channeling. It's not all that. There's so much magic in your body, in the earth, in our history that's in you. And it comes a point where I think we've come to a point where there's enough intelligence and enough practitioners that understand that we don't have to drag that behind us all the time. So I think it's so important to, if you haven't got the tools, is go to people that do. And I still have, not every week, but I might have 10 weeks in a row and then a little break, but I have personal, like a coach support all the time. I've had for years, and I think it's absolutely essential to being a good healer, that you have accountability, you have someone to talk through with what's going on in your life or in your sessions or with your courses. Someone that has more experience than you. I think it's very important just to keep you like aligned and authentic and in your power and humble. I think humble, real, human. So learning how to transmute and how to alchemize stuff that's stuck or that's dragging you backwards, or that you're sitting here going, okay, I'm gonna go live today, or I'm gonna make a video, or I'm gonna put my work out there, and suddenly there's like layers and layers of stuff happening in your body. There's the butterflies of like, oh no, but no one's gonna listen. And then there's the you're not good enough from school. And then there's the, but who's gonna look at you, imposter syndrome from being a child that was never heard. And then you've got this part of you, like almost like a powerful spirit part of you. Not so much, it's not quite spirit, but it's like the sorcerer or the magician behind you as a healer that's going, we're not teaching here again, it's not safe, and throwing like sleep dust and magical powders at the audience that they'll just scroll past or run away or like, woo, or just not even notice that you were there. Like you literally are wearing an invisibility cloak that's probably like several millennia old, and the reasons for it being on are completely not necessary right now in the same way. So I do, basically what I'm saying is that there's all these patterns that hold us back, but it's time, or I believe it's time, or it might be your time, to take a powerful stand for stepping into a new timeline where you rematrix the way that your energy works and functions, your energetic edges, how you walk in the world, how you feel in the world, how strong is your resilient center, what kind of energy are you emitting in the field that is that intimate enough to bring people in? Have you got the capacity to hold enough people in your courses or to sustain your, living needs? Have you got, the capacity, the space? Have you got literally the, like a treatment room or your own office or something? And have you got, you know, basically your eggs in order, your ducks in order, your ducks in order to actually have people come to you in whatever capacity. And if any part of you doesn't, then people will feel that very unconsciously. So what I propose, you know, is this: the stronger, more resilient you are, where there is no doubt about your magic, about your powers, about what you're offering, about the, you know, if you can stack the belief, many beliefs about who you are and what you do, that there's no doubt, your worth is never in question. You just are worthy, and your, you know, your offers are excellent. So there's no second guessing. So you get to this point of strong core, strong sense of self, and an open channel from here and here, where you can deliver what it is you've come to deliver without sleep dust and don't look at me and go away in the way. And it's very possible. And it took me far too long in many ways. Took me ages to get on camera. And the whole point I wanted to go on camera is that I'd done so many public talks about aura transformation. I just couldn't talk about it anymore. I was like, I need to put it on camera so that I can go watch that video, rather than repeating myself again and again and again. So just being able to show up on camera was like, oh, gotta do it. And I remember the first times I was like totally terrified and like, it wasn't great, but it did it. You know, you get over it and keep going and keep practicing. But then I also had a total, like, endless brain fart, you know, endless confusion and fog, which I think is it's an essential part of the creative process, to go into fog and like, what is it? Because you're just throwing out there like all the options, you know. But if you're got blinkers on and this is all that's possible, is like this narrow view of what's possible, then yeah, well, it's hard to move forward, because actually there's so many ways you can be creative, and you can make, you know, in my eyes, there is no cookie cutter marketing plan for every healer out there. I think each one of you need to create it from your unique frequency, your learning styles, your communication styles, your family's needs, you know, and what forms of expression nourish you. Because if you start pushing yourself out of alignment, and you're a sensitive spiritual being, and you're going against your heart and your nervous system and your better judgment, because that's what the others are doing, or anything like that, you are going to just be completely, your endeavors will be destabilized, and it's going to be a struggle. So coming into alignment with who you really are and creating structures and businesses that support you is just like essential, because it won't work. Well, it might work, but not as well as you like. So yeah, the visibility gateway is how, well, actually, before I talk about that, what I was going to say is that the endless fog, mind fog, was this. I'd done a big marketing course, like not for healers necessarily, but for leaders and stuff. And this, it was so cookie cutter. It was like, you do these exercises, make it happen that way, and then deliver it this way. And it was all like rushed, and the niching down part was so uncomfortable for me, because when you're a healer that does a modality, say kinesiology or something like that, then you could literally do anything. You could help any ailment, any emotional issue, any ancestral issue. You could literally just have anyone. And so when you're being asked to niche down like that in a marketing course, and you know, all these measurable outcomes and all that stuff, it's like really, it could rip the magic out of you. And I ended up trying to deliver something I didn't enjoy, wasn't me. It had taken all my magic out of me, and it felt like I was going to have a nervous breakdown or something, you know, I was having to do all these sales calls, and my diary was like hijacked. It was going well, but it wasn't me. And I think I learned so much about marketing, not for magical people. And what I've done in the Visibility Gateway is all of these experiences I've had to be able to go on camera, even though I was good at speaking, good at what I do. It's not about a skill thing. It's like there was all these layers that were making my body like switch off. And there was all the, you know, some confidence, self-esteem stuff was there, definitely. But there was also this ancestral piece, and then there was a wealth piece, and then there was when your subconscious and unconscious are going against each other. So, for example, you think, oh, I want to be successful and I want to reach more people. This is what I want to do. I'm going to go on video and do that. But your body's like, if you're successful, you will never have love. Or if you're successful, you will be a terrible parent. So the body's like, I'm going to choose my kids and I'm going to choose love. I'm not going to, I'm not going to start being good on camera or going on camera at all, or even putting flyers out, because deep down, unconsciously, you're fearing losing something you need to survive. So there's so many layers to this visibility piece, certainly for healers and sensitive people. And that's why I created the Visibility Gateway, which took me, God, the confusion and fog was years. And trying to get my work out there, and the going on camera was about 2 years. So what I've put together in the Visibility Gateway, it's an 8-week thing. It starts kind of slow, intensifies, and then we have a bit of a calmer ending as well. It used to be 5 weeks, now it is 8 from popular demand, just because it was, it's a bit of a, more well-rounded process now. And that has covered all the bases of what I've just described. We're doing deep, powerful core wound healing in a beautifully sensitive way. For example, if your wounding from childhood and not being seen is stopping you from doing stuff, that is not self-sabotage. That is you trying to protect yourself, or trying to find love, or avoiding creating less love somewhere. So I don't use the word self-sabotage, but we work very sensitively with this core level wound healing. And then we're also clearing, transmuting and alchemizing ancient stuff that you're dragging with you, that is you pulling along, that we don't need to. And then we are really, during that whole process throughout those 8 weeks, is rematrixing how your energy works, restructuring your sense of self and how you are in the world, and how you are able to transmit your magic into the world and people feel it and land without being switched off or pushed away. So we are increasing your wealth frequency, your ability to hold more money, more wealth, more clients, more intimacy, more holding of more people. And that's a muscle that you build. You have to build the muscle of picking up more and more. You have to build the muscle of being able to hold more power, money, capacity for people. So that's part of this as well. And we're looking at your money story as well, and you're practicing making video every week. So there's a challenge element, and then support from the others. You get to be seen by the others in the group, and understand your field of, like healing stuff. But also, you're being seen by me and my colleague Tallulah. She's my daughter's stepmom as well. We've worked together for years, raising my child, and she has 3 boys as well. But we have a unique relationship, and what's happening is that you're being, what people have said is that you're being more seen than you've ever been seen before, as your spirit, your unique frequency, your ability to transmit your frequency, and just lots of tips and tools of how to move forward in your transmission. So you get to practice the video, you get to be seen, and you get tips on how to move forward. So it's an incredible program. The first one, I was like blown away how good it was from people's feedback. And then this will be the 6th one, and there's a graduate group that you join afterwards, so it doesn't just end. And there's lots of like other pieces that come afterwards if you are interested. I had to create Money Gateway because we couldn't look at the money as deeply as we needed to on the Visibility Gateway because we've got so many other pieces. So I created the Money Gateway to go deeper into the money story, I created devoted action, which is like accountability calls, spanning over time after the course, just to keep you really, so you've got your, your mission and what you're going to do and how you're going to design it, and you're able to talk about it powerfully, and you're able to transmit it and make videos. And then it's that continued support. Like I said, I have ongoing support for years now, like going on 6 years. And it helps you keep momentum and keep your business growing. Hi, Aslan. Do you want to say hello? I've had to put bells on them. They're not quite happy about it. Yeah, Aslan, say hello. Lovely cat. And yeah, there's also, I do one-to-one work that is really powerful around your business as well. So there's just 3 that I do that are really business orientated. There's the goal activator, which is stepping towards your goal. If you're very clear about where your money goals, your business goals, where you want to be in 5 months or 5 years time, we're walking towards it. So it's like a quantum leaping into the future, towards your goal, and everything that might come up everything that might come up in the future towards you reaching your goals will come up in that session. We start working with it preemptively. Then there's the manifestation portal, which is kind of a unique piece. It's not so much business, but it's all the work you've ever done to stay aligned, to stay, your energetic allies, whether they're animal allies or deities or planet energies or modalities or tools that you use. We're creating a kind of visual representation of that so that you can instantly align all your energies without hours of spiritual practice work on yourself. It just minimizes the time you need to keep working on yourself. And it's like something that just brings you back into this rematrix, realigned, centered, grounded space. And we use kinesiology to make sure you're getting the most out of that and that you're aligned with those things, those allies of yours. Are you aligned to them? Do you know exactly what they're saying to you? What do you need to do to be more in alignment with it? And then finally, there's it's business kinesiology. It's basically, we look at what you're creating, your offer, whether it's your academy, your school, your online program, your one-to-ones that you do with people. It's making sure we're looking at all of that as an entity or container in itself, and we're doing kinesiology in all aspects of that. Well, thank you, Ulrika. Yeah, I think that's enough for today. I'm very much looking forward to the Visibility Gateway. It starts on the 1st. There's a couple of spaces left. There's some really amazing people that have joined. It's for you if you have had client experience. It's very hard to do without client experience, I think. It's for you if you love what you're doing and you just really want to get out there and be able to talk about it on video, just go live. Yeah, and also it really helps you if you're fed up of doing one-to-one, paid by the hour stuff, and you want to start thinking creatively around creating offers or online programs or anything like that. This is the perfect space for you to really get your head around that. But all in all, what I'm teaching on the Visibility Gateway, you could use again and again and again for any offer you ever make. You can just go through the protocols that I'm teaching at any point and it'll help you. So it's like tools for life, and you'll never be the same after that amount of clearing. And yeah, so please get in touch. There's only a few days. I'd like to know by Friday if possible, if you're interested. Looking forward to hearing from you. And the Entrepreneurial Spirit Activation, which is a Facebook group, is going to be, the replay will be available till Friday. So if you want to join that, I will drop the link in here. Lots of love. Thanks for listening.